ago, we talked about the Texas School Board and how they are planning on whitewashing their textbooks, okay? Basically, what the school board wants to do is take out civil rights leaders from their textbooks. They want to get rid of Thomas Jefferson because he was for the separation of church and state, and they're not having any of that. And they want to replace Thomas Jefferson with John Calvin because, you know, he's a Protestant leader, and he is the type of person that our school children need to learn about. We have a video regarding this story, and it's a Fox and Friends video where Steve Ducey is talking to Cynthia Dunbar of the Texas State Board of Education. Let's go to the video. It's video number 6.
Okay. So at the end of the day, at the end of the week, do you feel like your side was able to get to make these American textbooks more pro-American?
Well, I think they are pro-American, but not to the extent that the other side is saying we're whitewashing history. We did an accurate review and grade-specific levels all the way through, but we wanted to make sure that at the same time that there was a patriotic position that was promoted, because America, after all, is still the greatest nation on earth.
There you go. And Thomas Jefferson's still in, and they still talk about the 4th of July, right?
Yes, Thomas Jefferson is still in.
All right, very good.
No, he's not. No, he's not. And if he is, if they talk about the Declaration of Independence, they're definitely not going to talk about how he's for the separation of church and state. They're going to take things out of the textbooks that do not agree with their conservative agenda.
This is the, let me be clear about something. This is the same news network, the same group of journalists who call socialized medicine or healthcare reform Maoist.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And to let this go unchallenged, that someone who sits on a board of education, taxpayer-funded education, board of education, essentially saying that their aim was to make things pro-American.
Yes.
More American. There's nothing, and a journalist or a TV host would let this go unchallenged.
I know.
I mean, the dogma, that jingoistic bullshit that's just going unchallenged is just, how is Fox News even called news if a journalist lets that shit go by?
Yeah,
I mean, seriously.
I don't understand it either. And
it's the greatest nation on earth.
For them, I know. For them, taking civil rights leaders out of our textbooks is pro-American. Okay, for Fox News journalists and for the commentators that are on Fox News, they love this. For them, what Texas is doing right now is pro-American. That's why that goes unchallenged.
Here's the thing about Thomas Jefferson. It's not like he's a fossil that was found on the bottom of a rock. And you have to call in some archaeologist and paleontologist and start dusting it off. And then you carbon date it, and then you wonder, gee, was it 10,000 years or 15,000? Let's just say somewhere in the middle. No, this is recent history.
I know.
That's recorded. And yes, it's free for interpretation, of course. However, it's known. It's documented. It's not...
I mean, he's the 3rd president of the United States.
It's not like
how do you ignore that? How do you just erase him out of textbooks and pretend like it doesn't happen? And you know, one of our listeners made a great point. The last time we talked about this story, we didn't mention this, but we had talked about it earlier. The reason why this is such a big story is because Texas creates most of the textbooks that are distributed in the United States. Okay? So I think it's something like 80% of textbooks are in Texas, are created in Texas. So
are they written by Texans? Are they? No. Or they're manufactured in Texas?
They're manufactured in Texas.
Okay.
So this is going to affect all states. This isn't something that's just going to affect Texas. Okay? So basically, they're going to manufacture these textbooks that don't have civil rights leaders, that ignore certain aspects of Thomas Jefferson. And they're going to be distributed all over the United States, and it's going to affect our education.
No, it's another sign of the apocalypse, basically, that it's here, is you have uneducated people sitting on boards of education talking about education.
You know,
and essentially dictating to children how they should be taught. That is Maoist. That is all the things Fox News criticizes, that we're teaching kids dogma, rather than like presenting them the history and letting them interpret it for themselves.
Right.
Man, that's a reason to homeschool your kids right there.
Yeah.
And I'm not for that.
No, we're doomed, man. That's how I feel.
But just to let it go unchallenged is an abrogation of any kind of journalistic responsibility.
I know.
To say we just wanted it to be more pro-American, because more patriotic was what she said, which is even in some which is worse in some ways. Patriotic.
Can't get enough of the Young Turks? Well, then subscribe to the TYT's YouTube channel. What's the matter with you?